Hello! Hello! How's it going, everyone? So, today I am, joined by a very special guest. You can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what's good, guys? It's Jaden XV. I'm known as the Sonic guy. I don't want to be, but I am. So I'm here talking about trails.
This is your fate for the rest of time.
My fate.
Yeah. Oh, man. My friend Jaden here, he did a deep dive into trails in more recent years. When did you get into trails exactly? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah. So it was July 2022. I was playing FC, and then I stopped playing because Xenoblade 3 came out, and then I forgot about it. And then I came back in, like, I want to say January 2024. I beat it, and I just binged all the way up to Cold Steel 1. And I was like, all right, Trails is peak. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here. I'm relevant to this.
Yeah. I also brought him along because out of anyone, you played like it when it was Kai, significantly earlier than like a lot of the rest of us, and you have like talked to probably the most out of anyone I know in terms of like theorizing with them and everything. So I have him here as reassurance only because like I got a job recently and all this other stuff and like craziness that has made my knowledge on the insane game that is Horizon very scattered. So he's here in the event that like I need correction on points or and also just to talk because we never do anything aside from that like Prime Hunter stream, which that was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun though.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. Around the same time. Okay. But yeah. No, I am incredibly so today I guess we'll just talk about what today is going to be about. So there's a little game. Oh no, we're talking everything. We're talking Horizon, like very early on into this. Like I will transition over like right now just to give you an idea. It is I need to reset the slideshow. Where is it? It's
Yo, I'm a talking logo. What's up?
Hold on, why is it not showing up? Okay, that's really annoying. Okay, that works. All right, that works perfectly. Yeah, so we're gonna have a slideshow today, and we're gonna be like unpacking everything. But yeah, I feel from this title screen alone, we're gonna be talking everything. So just letting you know, it's gonna be happening. Yeah, nothing is safe. It will be mostly Horizon focused, though, all things considered. But, like, there's going to be little things. But, unfortunately, Horizon is the newest game. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I just, also, by the way, everyone, if anyone watches the VOD at least, I just finished doing streams of Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails. I think it is a very peak video game. I quite like it. But... yeah, it's this very funny one that does some very funny things that just happen to have funny little parallels with mainline trails, and I really enjoy it. And we will also be spoiling the frick out of Nayuta today. So if you want to like play that game yourself and play it blind, I recommend it. I think it is probably the most overlooked Trails game next to like maybe, well, I mean overlooked in the sense that like people just don't really care for it, I guess.
Yep.
I would say the closest thing to it outside of that maybe is Cold Steel 2, like as far as appreciation, maybe, right? But like, I don't know.
Yeah, probably I would say Cold
Yeah.
Steel 2, and I guess now Daybreak 2. So
a little Daybreak 2 is more complicated though. That's
yeah,
more.
yeah.
But yes, I would say that Nayuta doesn't have much wrong with it. Maybe like one really dumb thing they pull in like the after story chapter, but other than that, I think it's like fine. Otherwise, I think you probably would agree with that. Like it's yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I started playing East before I played Nayuta, so it kind of felt, like home to me. Maybe just a little different in some ways, but I was like, oh, this is kind of like East Trails. So
yeah. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I did say throughout that stream series, though, I did keep it spoiler free. I wanted no one to talk about mainline spoilers whatsoever. This is where we're allowing it. So once again, if you guys are playing Trails, this is where you should probably dip. But I appreciate you taking the time to pop into the stream regardless, and the VOD will be here for you later. But for everyone else, we're doing this, so yeah.
Or if you don't feel like playing Nayuta and you watched Genma play it, or didn't watch him play it and just don't care, stick around.
I would prefer at minimum you watch my streams, at minimum.
Yeah.
But if you really want more reason to know why I think this matters, then I guess sure, yeah. We'll do our best to explain our points, but this will make the most sense if you have played both mainline and Nayuta, I think, because I'm sure I will poorly explain things, but yeah. So, anyway, first and foremost, let's get this going. Ooh, thank you, Snake. It's the Zelda Oracle games, which I quite like those. So, yeah, let's begin with... Actually, you know, now think about it, do I know the title screen theme in, maybe it's this. Maybe.
I do not. Off the top of my head, by name.
Okay, I'll go with the title screen theme now. Okay, I got it. It was the last one in that playlist, which is pretty funny. Alright. So let me change on over to the proper screen. Okay. So, for this stream, I am going to do some combination of, like, shrinking and or, I think I'll probably just go with like this. Okay. All right. You this so you can see what you're looking at. That's what I'm doing. So
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the stream up on my left. So.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, I also have a list of notes to go with a lot of my slides, so I will have that open right now while we go through this. So, just to clarify before I dive into this, a lot of this is not, like, just concrete, like, hard confirmed at this point. Anything in here is very heavy speculation, just given the information that is provided. There are an insane amount of parallels, but, like, we haven't seen, like, Nayuta himself, like, show up, like, in mainline or anything, of course, as we know. I think everyone would lose their minds.
Maybe.
But...
We'll talk about that.
God.
We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. But,
Maybe.
I do think, though, that there are a lot of signs that point to it being very, 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 very possible. But I'm going to have also some things in here that are just purely conjecture, or cases of, if this is true, then maybe X and Y are also possibly the case. But that's speculation, you know, so. But yeah. Anyway, I first wanted to kind of begin with the similarities between mainline and Nayuta, starting with, like, on a thematic level. So you'll notice that the title screens for both of these games are, like, a space shot. Both Nayuta and Horizon have a very, like, big focus on, like, outer space as, like, a theme, but also, like, stars in the sky. And I think larger mainline actually does collectively have a lot of themes relating to stars in the sky. Like, there's Hoshino Arika, Whereabouts of the Stars, which is the proper translation of that. So, like, Whereabouts of Light for everyone else, though. But yeah, that is one example. The stars are mentioned all the time. I think, like, Trails also loves their, like, nighttime sky shots all the time as well. But there's a lot of, like, focus on that, whereas, like, Nayuta has, like, very literal things that also reinforce that idea as well. So, like, there's a lot of thematic consistency between both series. So
also, just to add, a shooting star leaves a trail.
Yeah.
Right in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally see it in Nayuta's logo here.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. So
that's the Boundless Trails.
yeah. it's actually really funny about that game's title, but in Nayuta's name himself, but I will unpack that as we progress. So, anyway, okay. Also even worth mentioning, by the way, so let's go here, though. One thing, by the way, as far as, like, similarities that I want to unpack, I'm gonna change to something more energetic. Let's go with Tower of Ruins. Let's dive in proper here. Okay. Nayuta music is so freaking peak.
I love it.
All right. So, one thing I wanted to bring up as well, from like even down to like the progression of stakes a little bit, Nayuta, much like mainline Trails, starts off very low-key. It feels just very like cozy fantasy adventure, to the point that I think a lot of people when they first play it, just very much write it off, which is kind of funny, for reasons we'll get into. I don't know what your first impression about that was, Jaden, but I know for me, like, I put the game down for, like, a few months, and then it was only later when I got into it, like...
So, I never had a moment where, like, I put it down, but I low-key just had no idea where it was gonna go. So, okay. I just let it take me for a ride.
Okay. Right, so, anyway, it starts off very low-key. And then both Mainline and Nayuta end up going to freaking space. Which is pretty funny. And also, there's another thing worth mentioning as well. Both games have a whole... So, Nayuta, like, from the very beginning, talks about, like, how the world in that has an end. As you can see here, that's what we've been taught for as long as we can remember. Even the sea, which appears to stretch forever, has a point beyond which no one can go. Which is so similar to that one funny scene on the right. Which is basically just talking about, yeah, when you stay away from the continent, you're unable to progress past a certain point. That's even, like, a big part of both world building. Now, I know it's going to be brought up that this is also technically, like, also a Gagarv trilogy thing, like the previous Legend of Heroes. Like, Jaden, I think there's, like, a canyon that divides the countries, and it has, like, weird magic wumbo jumbo in it. But, yeah.
I want to point out, for me, I think this made me go, oh, and my gear started turning. I was like, wait a minute, there's something going on here. So,
yeah. I'm choosing to believe in the Gagarv cases that I think they wanted. I mean, in general, I know that Kondo was a huge fan of those games, so he probably was just kind of spiritually following up, I think, with all this here. That's my interpretation, though. There's also things like this. So, in Nayuta, when you teleport around... there's a few cutscenes where they show the process of the teleportation, and it looks suspiciously like spirit veins when you're using those in Cold Steel 2. Yeah. And I find that really funny. I will get to why I think this is the case later, but yeah, it's worth mentioning. There's also a mechanic in Nayuta that is referred to as the Wings of Waterlight, which looks suspiciously like stigmas. I don't really know entirely what to make of that, but, and they do seem to give like a power boost. They are tied to the Mythos race, which we will talk about later on, but it is another thing that I find very funny. Now, I wanted to talk about, before we continue, the Herschel family line. So, and I'm referring to it as a family line in this case, only because I am relatively confident that Nayuta for sure is Toa's ancestor, in my opinion. But
I agree.
So, let's unpack this really quick. Nayuta loves outer space. His parents were like... I think they were astronomers, but also, like, explorers a little bit. They were trying to investigate the end of the world, and they perished trying to do so. And Nayuta, you know, he loves outer space, and it just so happens that Toa's family also loves, astronomy, and I think I even kind of pieced together something a little funny. I don't know why, I also get a little bit of Nayuta hair vibes out of Funny Alfred there, and that are a little bit... Like, I could hypothetically see older Nayuta looking kinda like that.
Yeah, or more so, it could be like a very distant family member that shares characteristics.
Yeah, I'm not saying they are the same, but I do think it's like I could see it. Yeah, the relation. So yeah, and if over on the right, by the way, like just in case anyone didn't get it, that's from a bonding event in Cold Steel 3 you can get with Toa. Really like that one. It's really cute. Ends up being important to Horizon, of course. There's also worth mentioning that Albert is involved in the funny conspiracy as well, where like they're just knowing. Yeah, it's oh god, this is so wild in and of itself. Like with the sky and all that, and like them trying to... I don't even fully know what to make of this, even still, knowing what I do. Like, it's... Yeah.
It's interesting that he's there, because this cutscene is literally Novartis coming in saying, hey, without actually saying it, I belong here. So, like, right. What is he doing here then? So it's like...
Right, yeah. No, I mean, they have also Dean Collins there, so, I mean, it's just, influential older people that are in on whatever the frick.
A Dean being there is also kind of strange, but...
Yeah. He also was involved with the funny, telescope, underneath the, like, so I was gonna have a slide for this, but I think I changed my mind. There was, the ruins as well underneath the god, what do you call those? I'm so dumb. Those like domes with the observatory. There we go. I got it finally. But yeah, the ruins underneath that observatory. The architecture. The only thing they needed were the gears. It looked very reminiscent of like a lot of temples and stuff in Nayuta to me.
Yeah, it was strange, honestly, in Horizon. It's like, this is a very different vibe in this entire game, an entire series, honestly. It's like... Right. It stands out a lot.
And, of course, like, oh, you saw Twit Gamer's theory on Novartis. Because he traveled to the new timeline, he didn't reincarnate in it, so he never existed until he came across the... Right. Well, I mean, that would make some... He got, like, displaced, is the vibe I got, yeah. Which is really interesting. Or his memories carried over?
No. That's why he was... well, I think, like, pieces of it, because he didn't fully believe... what he was remembering, so that's why he was researching to make sure he wasn't crazy.
That makes sense.
But that might tie into something we'll talk about a bit later.
Okay. So, anyway, right. So also worth mentioning as part of the Herschel thing, Toa's ultimate weapon in Cold Steel 2 and Reverie is called Boundless Trails for the West. In Japan, it is Hoshireiju Nayuta, which stars Spirit Gun Nayuta. And just to show that that is in fact correct, you can see that the bracketed text there, it lines up with the logo for Nayutanokiseki. Which is, yeah, that is so funny that they literally named it Nayuta in Japan. Now, there is another layer to this. I will not open up, like, the link right now, just for time reasons, but I actually found out the meaning of the name Nayuta a little bit, and it has some cool stuff to it. But, the word Nayuta is adjacent to, like, infinite, or it's, like, such a big number it may as well be infinite, which is where the boundless part of the title comes from for us. But the name itself apparently is, like, celestial bodies or, like, star-related thing, so, like, for, like, a person. So it's like double wordplay, but also there were the individual characters in them had like a character that, like, could be interpreted as like breaking free, which really works with Nayuta's themes, which like so with like a lot of the so how that ties into it has to do with the funny end, as it were, in Nayuta, so we'll get there. But I find this very fascinating, also because they name the weapon this, and then they retroactively, when they localized Nayuta, named it Boundless Trails, like they carried it over from the weapon. And also the fact they localized it in, like, right after Reverie, which is like... And it's
Very
not
interesting.
And it's not a particularly popular game. So if it... Part of me finds it very suspicious that if... Like, what's the point in having NIS localize this when they could be putting that manpower into, like, Daybreak? Like...
Yeah.
I find that just very fascinating. Like... Anyway, so it's... Yeah. Anyway, this scene... This is like the scene that I think rewrote most of our brain chemistry. Okay, the link did not work when I clicked on it. Here, PDFs, am I right? Let me... Okay. Let me get this scene up for everybody else. Okay. So... Let me do that, and we'll just capture... Window capture, pick, and pick. We'll do that. Alright. Cool. So, let's watch this courtesy of, let me get the channel name. Oh, it's CGI Inferno. Okay, that's funny.
Not understand or even begin to explain. For example, no matter how far you try to fly or sail away from the continent, you're unable to progress past a certain point.
We're gonna dive into this comparison in a bit.
You're kidding me.
So, like, obviously the big thing here, of course...
It's not a well-known phenomenon, but it was recently verified through research.
So, I think the big takeaway, of course, that we should, like, get from this scene is, like, the fact, just to give a big TLDR from what I remember when I played it recently, we learned that, one, there is the edge of the world, of course, that, like, no one can cross. But they also, like, start to imply things regarding the divergent laws and the beyond, which we still don't really know what the beyond really is, all things considered, as far as I'm, like we know, like, I think the demons are, like, part of it, but, like, it... And I'm, like, just like, okay, I'm just trying to think, is this, like, a dimensional thing, or is this literally the beyond the canopy, as we have discovered?
Again, some things we simply can't understand.
But there's, like, the salt pail, which, like, showed up. There's, like, Mick Byrne and his weird deal, him having, like... I guess he, like, synchronized with, like, a demon. I think it's kind of similar with, like, Van, sorta? There's, like...
Yeah, except that's not his true form, so it's like, what happened there, but, you know.
Right.
We don't know.
So, yeah,
So...
Let's do it with play, like, okay. Right. Yeah, no, Campanella is also sus as frick, Caleb. Yeah. No, I have... By the way, just as an aside, knowing what we do now, also about, like, the fact that everything is being observed by partially at least the Septarian of Time, that one door where Campanella just breaks the fourth wall, I am choosing to interpret that in universe as him acknowledging the fact that everything is being observed by, like, you know, the subsystems, as it were. which we will unpack. But
maybe now's a good time to talk about the demon thing, or
okay.
Yeah.
That is towards the end of this. But
oh yeah. I see.
I mainly did want to focus though for now. We will come back to the demon thing, but I did just want, we can at least have it on the table, right? Let me change to,
keep that in mind.
Yeah. Let me go to, what would be a good track for this part? This one should work. Astrolabe theme. Why is it not playing? There we go.
Oh, there.
All right. Oh, this one's particularly loud, it feels like. Okay. So, when they bring up the edge of the world, this is where I get to talk about the edge of the world in Nayuta, because this is where the lore of Nayuta gets really freaking interesting. Oh god, we're playing another video. Okay. I'll just do this. I'll play it from my streams. I'll just have that audio muted. Okay. Alright, let's bring this up. Okay, so, hello past me. So this is from a cutscene that basically just explains the backstory of what happened in, like, the, you know, in Nayuta's back. So, just to clarify, Nayuta has an event similar to the Great Collapse that it refers to as the Great Flood. It is an event that in Nayuta sunk a bunch of the continents, leaving only like a few left and some islands, okay? It was a big catastrophic thing that like nearly ended the world. So, in this game, we learn that it was caused by... okay, I need to first mention ahead of time, because I'm now realizing this is very crucial information. There is a group of people known as the Mythos. They're super powerful, ancient, humanish beings? Humanoid. Anyway, they make a bunch of really crazy technology that uses something called star energy. I think star energy is interesting in its own way, but we'll just say they make a bunch of tech. And they lived with people for a long time. They were all living in harmony. And then, people started using the Mythos technology to kill each other. And it led to this happening. So as soon as that fade finishes... It's funny when I have no audio. Okay. But yeah. So, that happens in the distant past of Nayuta. And it is such a crazy moment that will forever live rent-free in my head. But, yeah. Yes, Callum. Absolutely. A much bigger scale. That is what caused the Great Flood that ended up sinking most of the continents as well. And the continent that was at the center of the explosion was called, Alexandria. And yeah, no. Big, crazy moment that happened there. And that is the edge of the world in Nayuta, specifically. If you try to sail past a certain point, you're gonna reach the Doom Crater. Which is why a lot of people think the world is flat. Now, that is a little different than the edge in mainline, but we'll get there. But it is there to just point out again the similar themes. And I think one of the themes here, by the way, and I very strongly have noticed this about mainline trails, we'll switch back to the slide proper, that a lot of mainline trails effectively centers around, like, I think just kind of the human condition and sometimes even, like, the sins of mankind to an extent. Because I think almost, if my theories are correct, even in current day trails, I think a lot of things are probably traced back to an incident probably at least similar to this that has led the Septarians to feeling it necessary to do what they're doing. That is very much what I think is happening.
Yeah. I would like to add, there's almost like a subplot with that, with how technology is advancing in trails, which is almost low-key, you know, equaling the power of a Septarian in some ways. But that's also due to, you know, time loop stuff, why it accelerates so fast in current Trails timeline. So, but yeah, we'll give more for that.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, adding on to what you said, they nearly succeeded in brute forcing a Septarian with nukes, so you know.
Yep. All of those nukes that hit the Septarian could probably do something similar to this. Maybe not as big, but like, yeah, possibly.
Yeah. But all right, now I want to talk about Terra. So Terra here is basically your main gameplay location in Nayuta. This is like kind of like a level select area. The sin counter thing in Daybreak too. Yeah, this is a little bit. This is what Snake says. Yeah, but also brought up in Horizon.
Yep.
But yeah, in Nayuta here though, with this entire area though, you know, it's like a fun little fantasy world. There's 4 continents, and each of these continents is handled by an administrator, which is much later in the slideshow. But essentially, each of these continents though can also have like their seasons changed and stuff. Maybe I'll return back to the slide later to kind of really drill home some of this, but like, essentially, this world is weird, the world of Terra, and Nayuta accesses it by going through like a portal. So anyway though, throughout the entire game though, it's like, alright, whatever. It's like, I think most people playing it probably assumed it was like another dimension or something weird like that. I think that was where my brain was for like a good chunk of it, right, Jaden? Like you say that's where yours was?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a lot more fun than that. It is revealed, there's a very fun reveal. So in Nayuta, one thing that at first heavily contradicted mainline that I immediately observed was the fact there were 2 moons. And I very much latched onto that, and I'm like, okay, that's really weird. I don't know, like, I figured this could be a big sticking point for connecting it if there was, like, a contradiction. You can see one of those moons is also in this artwork. I think the hand's on top of the other one, but there's, like, 2 moons in Nayuta's world. I do want to draw attention, though, in this art that you're noticing a very weird pattern on that moon in this art, though, in hindsight. Oh. Nayuta Salam was a... Oh! Well, we'll get there. Anyway. So, let's watch this cutscene now. I keep forgetting that this doesn't work here. That's so annoying.
This music is making me want to play the game again.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's go to... We'll do this track, why not? No, maybe not this one. Let's do one of the level themes for a second. No, I think this is too much. Alright, give me a second, everyone. This one might work? Yeah, because this is literally the cutscene music that plays during this, and I wanted this. Okay. Alright, so, let's get to this funny one. Okay. Here we go, everybody. We're gonna relive this cutscene for like a second. This is the craziest moment you could have in the middle of Nayuta. When you confront the bad guy, he activates a thing inside of Terra, and then this happens. Like, it's revealed like halfway through the game. Hello me. It's revealed halfway through the game that the second moon was Terra the whole time. It's a freaking space station. And it's so cool.
It's really cool. It's a cool reveal.
And like, it makes so much sense in hindsight. There's even an NPC that mentions, foreshadows the Mythos thing, but also like, yeah, like, let me also real quick. Okay. Yeah, no, there's like someone that mentioned that there used to only be one moon in the sky if you talk to that NPC, which is pretty crazy. And I find that especially interesting only because, like, there's the fact that, alright, in Nayuta, there's the fact that you have the moon revealed to be fake, whereas in mainline we have the sky itself being fake right now. It's even in, like, a dome thing, like, it breaks apart here on Terra. I genuinely think that it is probably the same sort of thing. It's big enough to be that, too, because, like, Terra has 4 continents on the top layer. Zemuria's 1.
Yeah. I think it's kind of hard to judge the size of it, but I think the shot where the nukes actually land on it might be a good judge, a little, just to get a scale of it, because those nukes are supposed to be like town size, probably, or like city size.
Right. But yeah, that is a lot of effort for that. But that suffice to say, it's big. Both are big, but it is still funny that this is like a parallel that can be drawn here. Now, oh yeah, there's the ending of the game as well. So let me, real quick, let me go ahead and unpack this one real quick. Alright. Alright, so there is the ending of the game, though. I mentioned the crater much earlier, and this relates to my theory. The white fades are funny. So they do eventually solve this problem with the ending and everything. I'm just gonna keep doing this track. They do eventually resolve this problem. Let me just put this here. Right. So, just to clarify, by the way, because I did skip over that, Terra at that point had launched, like, a crystal into the crater. Oh, by the way, just to add another detail about that end of the world there, it basically made the center of the planet very unstable, and it was slowly dying. So, there was a whole plot line about them potentially saving the world, but, like, they would potentially have to terraform the whole thing. They found another solution here using a device called the Astrolabe. Again, this makes way more sense if you play the game, but, like, there's a lot of world building to unpack. It's like Nayuta wakes up, and then... Okay, there's, like... where's the... Okay. Right, okay, so he's about to look at it. Okay. So, basically they fixed the crater by just making a, like, forest or a continent inside of there. Something weird. They just made a new landmass inside of it, where the crater used to be. So I have a very crackpot possibility here. involving this, and I will need to argue my point. So I'm gonna now change to something fun because let's change back to this track again. Okay. So I'm thinking that could be Zemuria. Granted, I'm talking more like time has passed, so like maybe like the oceans kind of came in and just like, because it's like a weird freaking formation, but like, you know, maybe it like started to become more normal with time. And part of the reason that I am willing to suggest that this is possibly Zemuria is the fact that this was created directly with that tech from Terra. Like, at its core is that crystal that was shot down, which effectively means that this thing is made the same way as those continents on Terra. And so, following that logic, it aligns with a lot of thoughts I have had about Terra, which is, I don't think Terra's digital. I don't think it's, I don't think it's digital, but I do think it is artificial. I think, not Terra, but like Zemuria. I think Zemuria is not digital. I think it is, artificial, though. Like, I think that...
like a live simulation.
Right.
As in, it's not digital, but it's, what's the word? It's guided to be the way it is. Clearly, as if you kind of know that already.
Right. So, which is very reinforced by other things, but like, I think down to even the way, like, septium veins work. So, for the record, it is very frequently mentioned when they invented the Orbital Network, that the Orbital Network was modeled after the septium veins.
That's correct.
So, like, and the thing is, there is the fact that there was that one funny time where the septium veins and the dragons... Well, okay. So, I mean, okay, for one, there's also the matter of legends, and also the fact that, like, you know, clearly we've had things that we've been quote-unquote lied to about in the world building so far, you know. Foreshadowed, but, like, as in obfuscation of information. What's the term for that? You know what I mean. Like, just... Yeah.
Just misdirection.
Misdirection.
Basically.
Yeah. So I feel the dragons could be something else weird. But, I guess, again, to get back to my point, though, so the septium veins, though, are very weird, and there's that time that they literally overlapped with the Orbital Network during, like, the Cold Steel 4 shenanigans, I think it was, right? And it just, like, birthed, like, Elysium. Like, or, which is very interesting. The more I got into the series, the more I started to just kind of realize that, like, the septium veins are weird. Like, they're super duper weird. They can cause, like, earthquakes when you mess with them the right way. You can travel through them and, like, teleport, but also, they can overreact and cause, like, weird instabilities that allow, like, monsters to, like, appear through, like, portals. Like,
those sound like bugs.
They have, like, things, all of it screams to me like it's an energy system that runs through the entire thing underneath, supporting it almost like a computer. But again,
even traveling through them is like, you know, a processor sending voltage to each part of, like, the PCB board or whatever to tell things what to do.
Right. Yeah. And this also ties into theories I have had that I feel the Septarians themselves, they are practically built almost to interface with aspects of Zemuria that are, like...
They're AI, bro.
But I think technically, though, multiple things could hypothetically interface with the same subsystems. I don't know if this is exactly what happened, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Kia's powers let her use the same part of the subsystems that the Time Septarian does, and that's how she was able to do that. That's like a thing that I have a possible guess on there, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, I think that that's probably what's happening. Now, of course, there's other weird things as well. Yeah. Survive between timelines, hence that also is a valid interpretation, Callum. But yeah, no.
Yeah, like the Holy Beast. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That would make sense mostly because of they're said to be directly, sent from Adios herself. So it makes sense that they would do that or survive those, or it wouldn't affect them.
Yeah. So, and then of course there's like the matter of Adios, but that's like a big old mystery that gets more and more weird the further in we get into this whole mess. So again, though, I think it is worth mentioning that my argument is not that everything is digital, but the fact that you could think of everyone as standing on top of a giant computer. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
it's a real world guided in a digital kind of way, but it's not literally digital like the Matrix.
It is also worth mentioning this is a world building aspect of Nayuta, that if these are connected, this patches holes in this a little bit. So Nayuta, I mentioned this earlier, has its own energy system, and it's called star energy. So the star energy is in Nayuta. It's basically something that's inside of all things. You could joke and call it the Force, but like it is an energy that the Mythos people learn to use and control, and that's how they're able to use or make a lot of their technology, including terraforming tech. And I would not be surprised if orbital energy and star energy are the same. That would make a lot of sense.
Also, we'll talk about Campanella later.
Right.
Some of the chat was bringing them up.
Septarian light. Okay. Right. So, let's go ahead and continue onward to, I guess, like the next slide. Right. Okay, we're here. All right.
Okay, so, now I can sit up.
All right. So we're into the one that I think everyone has caught on to. This is like the big meme one. This is the one that everyone says. And I am on board, but I feel like everything is not what it seems like either. But it is. These are real artworks that had to be made that are this similar, with this similar clothes, with like, it's like it's so similar. They're so similar in this art. Like,
yeah.
Like the colors, like, yeah, they're played around. Like, this is an outfit I could see her wearing, like, when she's older. Like,
it's not a mistake, that's for sure. This is a very deliberate one, if so.
Yeah. Yeah, no. And again, like, a reminder, this design came out in, like, Cold Steel 4. This was several years after Nayuta. Like,
yeah. And same artist, too, right?
Yeah.
So, I think they would remember what they've drawn.
And Cray has, like, an important character. This is not, like, a minor character. You just forget what they look like when you draw a new one. But here's the thing. I know he has said in interviews that they are not the same, but I think you looked into this, Jaden. Maybe you can fight it again. But I think the phrasing is maybe taken out of context from what you said, right? A little bit.
I don't think he directly said they're not the same, but more so he just played around the idea, and there was also some confusion with fans in Japan that it's somehow Altina, but because of the voice actor.
Oh, that's
actress.
funny. Right.
So he said, no, it's not Altina.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, no. So I think that's a very funny thing about this. But anyway. All right. So let's get back to Grandmaster. Now, I do want to address one thing, though, which is the hair color thing. I could make the argument... I can make the argument in this shot, at the very least, that, like, that could be interpreted as, like, the room color, because, like, the room itself is very, like, darkly lit blue colors and everything.
Yeah, it's reflecting off of her hair because it's silverish.
You're right.
So.
And here, of course, it's kind of hard to tell even. This is from the opening of Reverie as well, but, like, I mean, it is darker colors. It's still, like, blue tint, but also some characters just have really weird tints when they're actually modeled in these games.
That's very smart though, right? If I'm trying to like hide this from the player but also make them think about this, that's like something I'd probably do, right? Every time I see her, she's in a blue room, so let's make her hair more blue because it reflects her environment. Even on the box art of Horizon, it's blue. So
right.
I think it's just to throw you
now
off.
I do think this is definitely a correction on this one though. Like, I feel this one definitely is a case of I think he's trying to throw us off, but I still feel confident in how I feel about this.
Look at the bottom half of her hair, though. It's a lot lighter because of the lighting.
That is also true. And she is technically in the funny blue room still, so I mean, but still, yeah. She recolored the room in this scene to be like the funny blue room, which has its own implications. Oh, right! I didn't make slides for this. Shoot. Okay, hold on. So I want to unpack this. I mentioned the star energy thing earlier, right? Okay. Ouroboros, in and of itself, by the way, really great name now that we know what's going on with the time loop stuff in particular. It's like a snake eating itself with, like, the technology growth. Like, that's a name that feels directly in relation to just, like, the exponential, just, everything just going in circles. But when it comes to, like, oh god, okay, so I mentioned before the star energy thing, right? And that's like a very key part of the Mythos people. Kreha here is a Mythos, and like a lot of things involving Ouroboros, specifically the guys in the know have a lot of, like, star theming regarding, like, oh, hey, like, we have the astral code, and we meet in a place called, like, the celestial globe. like, you know, like, that is... It's very specific theming with their word choices involving that, you know? Like, that...
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's...
Just, let me know when I can jump in with the time loop stuff.
No, let's do that, because we brought up the Ouroboros thing. I'm about to get into something else crazy as speculation, okay. So yeah, go on.
So, a lot of people, you know, probably didn't think too hard on this, but this is something that caught my eye. And basically, it's almost implied that the Grandmaster, Campanella, and even McBurn don't really seem to be affected by the time loop in terms of memory. And the reason why I say that for the Grandmaster and Campanella is when Agnes is about to do her thing, you know, they're talking as if, you know, everything will be okay. We're going to continue the next phase of our plan. As if, like, the world isn't about to get pushed back. Yeah. Like, I don't think that's a normal reaction you would have to that if everyone is about to lose their memory and we're going back in time. That is, you know, the confidence of somebody who's going to be fine and remember it all, right? Yeah. And there could be a couple reasons for that. Now, McBurn is a strange one because he actually does lose his memory, but he remembers mid-battle in Cold Steel 4, and he's like, oh, I forgot. And then bro just wakes up to his memory, and it's like, oh, man, I gotta leave.
Yeah.
I just find that a really funny scene. But now how he lost his memory, we don't know, but clearly he lost it in a natural way. You know, nothing probably...
McBurn's also weird, though, because he also showed up 50 years ago. Actually, as far as we know, maybe as far as we know, that could be the first loop he shows up, though. We don't know.
Yeah. There's another person that relates to that, but I don't know if we're talking about that just yet. But
oh, well, also, yeah, kind of. Well, she rewinded it only, like, probably, like, a year, but, like, you know.
We're going basically based on the credits. We're going back to Daybreak one time, Right. I don't know if the game will start that way, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
But basically, you put a save state at Daybreak 1
right.
to buy us more time.
Right.
But regardless, though, you know, how the Grandmaster wouldn't know that, Campanella wouldn't know that. They would probably be like, oh man, you know, we messed up. But no, they're fine. This is actually not going to bother them at all. So that goes to show you, likely not affected by the time loops.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not
how would that be the case? Well, Kreia is not from you know, this world, right? She comes from somewhere else. And it seems like possibly people that are from Divergent Laws, like the Beyond, maybe even, we don't fully know, are probably not affected by this. And that's why I say Mick Byrne is also one of those people, because Kondo, in a recent interview after Kai came out, basically just confirmed straight up, yeah, Mick Byrne is just from another world. Like, he straight up said another world. Right. So that's our confirmation that, you know, there are other worlds out there. And plus, Nayuta also has other worlds, or I guess planets. Who knows exactly?
All right.
Dimension or planet.
It is worth mentioning. I was going to save this part for later. But on virtue of that space station existing, we do have it basically confirmed that the Mythos people have technically mastered space travel. So, like, yeah, you know, anything could happen then at that point. But I think I was going to bring that up later for a different reason. But, that is a very good point. And it also could be a thing that, like, if you are not from Zemuria, like, if we're going with the, you know, the computer thing, like, constructing everything, maybe you are unaffected on virtue of the fact that you were not made by the quote-unquote continent or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you might just not be
you're not born from the continent, essentially, right?
Yeah, like you're walking around, like, if this were the Matrix, you would just be, like, walking around and, like, it would be a lot like the VR things where you just have everything rebuilding around you. Like, that's a good visual for what I mean in the intro to Horizon. Oh god, what if
probably is for those characters, right?
Yeah.
And to kind of, like, tackle something said in the chat, basically because of that, and this tie to Nayuta, what I think Kreia's main goal is, or the Grandmaster, is she's actually trying to stop whatever is beyond the horizon, right? Because, you know, maybe something happened after Nayuta that, you know, that caused all this, which could be the Great Collapse itself, like not the Flood one, but maybe there was something else after that, right? So clearly there's something beyond there, and that's why, you know, it's Kreia.
Yeah.
And why they're doing what they're doing.
Well, yeah, I think especially now that we know what we do, I actually am incredibly confident at this stage that with Ouroboros, at the very least, like, the Grandmaster, but again, we're probably gonna keep calling her Kreia because we're pretty confident. But the Grandmaster, I think, basically is just min-maxing the optimal situation. And it just so happens to, just like Hamilton, require cracking a few eggs to get there.
Yeah. And in retrospect, it makes a lot of the dumb stuff that Ouroboros does make sense. If the world has looped this many times, like, they kind of just have to play around with stuff. Like, I think back to SC, right, where they were just doing stuff in that game, like Louve that, you know, Ragnar on what was it Bose, right? I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like, he's just watching. Obviously we have answers for those, but, like, they just do a lot of random things, and I think it's just because they're trying to get to something specific.
Yeah. Well, it's like, if you ever play, like, a video game that has, like, you know, just constant death flags or something, you're basically just min-maxing until you get the outcome you want out of it, you know? Like, it's very much like that, like, where it's just being like, okay, I tried this, okay, that didn't work, all right, let's try this again, but we'll change this here or there, and then just keep gaming it until it works out.
So I think that's why Ouroboros is probably so confusing to, like, even, like, the characters in the game, like, what, like, even in Cold Steel 4, I think, or was it Reverie? I can't remember which one exactly, but they were just like, what is your guys' deal? Like, what are you guys doing? So, yeah, I mean, but it makes sense in retrospect when you put all of this together.
Okay, I did get, like, a big old DM. Tell you what, if we have time at the end, I will do that. Otherwise, I'll just talk to you directly, Callum, because that's a bit tight. Yeah, you'll be here a while. If, but, yeah, no, I definitely agree though. Like, as far as yeah, no, it's also Ouroboros in general. Like, here's the thing. In Sky, they are introduced as, like, evil, but, like, that has been very thoroughly deconstructed at this point. They are incredibly morally dubious, but I do think that there's, like, a mixture of, like, good eggs and, like, bad eggs, but they are unified in, like, the Grandmaster who knows what she's trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And like, that is... That is...
It's interesting, though, just because, like, it's almost... Ouroboros as a group is almost, like, hopeful and nihilistic at the same time, right? Because it's made up of people that are actually decent people, but some people are just really bad people. But it's like, it doesn't really matter in the end, right? So they're, like, morally gray.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. And, like, yeah. And I think that's really cool about this, but it is definitely how Ouroboros is as an organization. So, anyway, I want to get into a very wacko theory I have. Yes, no, there are evil people there like Weissman, yes.
Well, yeah, and also Wiseman, they didn't really like Wiseman, so that just goes to show you, you know.
I would also make the argument that Harwood has his moments too.
Harwood might be worse. Like, he's a worse person than Wiseman, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, he just likes chaos.
Yeah. And they also made a point to say they don't like him either. So, you know, yeah, that's 2 for 2. Yeah. But anyway, okay. So, oh god, here we go. So Nina is a very fascinating character that they could do a lot of things with. I don't know as much with her, but I do find it incredibly fascinating that they're doing like a parallel thing between these two characters as far as like this art is concerned. And like, as far as power's concerned, I have seen more of technically Nina doing things than Grandmaster, technically. But
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they might be on somewhat equal footing.
I believe there is a line in Horizon where they actually say that.
Okay.
I forget where exactly in the game, but I'm pretty sure they say, like, they're kind of similar in terms of their power level.
Yeah. So, with these parallels, I have a crackpot theory. Knowing what I know about Nayuta, this is again following the idea that the Grandmaster is Kreha. Right? So... Kreha... Alright, I need to talk about the Mythos people first. A little bit. So I've talked about them before. I kind of gave the outline, but again, they were ancient people. One trait of the Mythos is that they are a very weird life form because they are partially, like, energy-based. So, like, they're not, like, they have a physical form, but they work different than normal people. Okay? And they have really weird powers. For example, Kreha has a brother. That's her brother, Salam. Salam has, which we also call him a different name. That'll come up in a second. But they have a power called, like, the Wings of Waterlight. It was inherited from their dad. He passed it on to them directly. And I mentioned earlier that these look like stigmas. Again, I don't know what that even means, but yeah. So the Wings of Waterlight, though, basically give them a lot of power, but more importantly, let them interface with aspects of Terra. So, like, you needed them to activate the regenesis process at the end of that game. And I will say as a tangent about the the stigma thing. So I think with the stigmas, okay, specifically though, actually no. When Nina gave her, like, her power, that, like, eye thing to, like, Kevin, he was just able to, like, look into the past, but like he said something that like sounded a lot like giving like a audio command to a computer. You know what I mean? This is reinforcing what I mean, guys. Okay. And it just like did like a rewind, and it had like weird like glitchy effects and stuff. Like it was, yeah. So that, or digitally looking stuff, and there's also the fact that they pointed out, by the way, that like the time pause was similar to Mare's thing. Very fun. Oh, mentioned the astrology thing in Ouroboros, present in the church. Just look at the emblem, astronomy. Right? Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, and knowing what I do now, I do think there are similarities between the stigmas. I'm gonna bring up a very funny example with this, because I mentioned again that this is needed to activate at least certain things in Terra, right? Can we talk about the fact that when Kevin got sucked into Phantasma, for some reason the subsystem of the Oriole decided to sync up with his stigma for some reason? Like...
Oh, boy. That is a crazy parallel. Like, that is, like... That's kind of mind-blowing when you think about that.
That, in and of itself, is weird. Yeah.
It's like a USB drive.
Yeah, no, that's so fascinating. But, okay, we're gonna move on past this, because I have another thing I'm getting to with these two here. So, there's a really wild twist that, I don't think I need to play the video for this part, but, there's a very wild twist around, the midpoint of Nayuta, where we learn that Nayuta's childhood friend Signa, who he had grown up with, okay, full timeline. I'll just do his actual backstory from the beginning. So Salam was Krea's brother, and they both went into sleep for a while. And then the villain of the game, he tried to forcibly wake up Salam. And it caused a very weird thing to happen that made Salam, because he's a spirit being, he split into two people, Kingdom Hearts style.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. And so, Signa ended up going to Remnant Isle, and he, like, grew up with, like, amnesia and not remembering anything about his past. And meanwhile, like, Salam, the other half, stayed behind. They ended up dueling, and they like fused together again, and he just kind of became one person. We did not learn so much about the Left Behind one, because not important. Okay, we like Signa, but the important thing is that weird split thing happened. And it is, I want to bring that up because that is now introduced mechanically as a thing that Mythos people can do, apparently. Okay. Again, like, there's Signa, and there's his Salam form.
Yep.
I am making the argument, there is a non-zero chance Nina is, if we're gonna use the Kingdom Hearts comparison, Krea's, like, nobody.
To be honest, I think you're right. Just straight up. And it's just because that line, like I mentioned earlier, about powers like similar to one another or something like that. And also, well, I guess if you want to go into her origin.
Okay. I have one reason I'm making this argument. Like, one, her powers are weird. She comes from this other world. She feels very similar to a Mythos. Or at the very least, I think I wouldn't be surprised if she is another Mythos. You know what I mean? Like, but, there is the weird fact that she is a child here, but, I mean, yeah. There's holes in this. I'm not locking this in, per se, but...
Who's to say Krea didn't split when she was a child, off screen?
Well, she'd be hanging out for a long time, Jaden. like during the events of Nayuta. No, yeah.
Well, she was also asleep.
There are holes in this. I'm not locking this in, for the record. But, like, I do want to mention one thing about this. Kreha's personality. Now, the Grandmaster's old, if she is Kreha, right? But, like, the Grandmaster doesn't really act that much like Kreha. Like, Kreha is very, she is very determined, but, like, she is a very, you know, like, kind of, like, you know, she's kind, which I guess Grandmaster is, sort of, but, like, in a more, like, motherly-ish way, you know what I mean? Like,
Freya is also technically old. Very old. Just, he was asleep, right? So, I think, let me see exactly.
Yeah.
He is over 1,500 years old.
Right, yeah.
So, but when she wakes up, I mean, she's still basically like 16 or whatever. So
I mean, if she's also been during all those loops and everything, there's also the factor of like, well, yeah, well, no, yeah, like no. Let me also find real quick. All right, that track freaking ended. We're talking about Kreha. Why am I not playing her theme? Let's play her theme. Okay, so I want to talk about my argument here regarding the personality, though, because I actually feel current Nina, her personality feels a lot like Kreha was in Nayuta. They're very kind of like sad, reserved, kind girls that are, you know, they clearly learned like a truth and they grew to love like the world that they are in. And similar to Grandmaster in a way, you know, if push came to shove, had a difficult choice in front of her because she was potentially ready to do the regenesis if she needed to, but like didn't want to. She absolutely did not want to, but you know, she was stuck with the case of the planet was gonna freaking die, and had to like I think that with that entire situation with Kreha, she just, she did like basically a test thing with Nayuta just to see like, hey, I'm going to show you the truth of what happened in our situation and see what you say. And then that would determine what she would do going forward, because she did not want to go forward with the plan as much as possible. But I feel like there was still a part of her that like would be willing to go through with that. And I think with Nina, she's in like a situation where, again, like a lot of her wording that she said, like, I will do anything to protect the people I love and things like that, is stuff that like she said in this.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't technically see the payoff for that yet. So like, we'll have to see ultimately what she's cooking at the moment, right?
Yeah.
But
what I want to know though is, what is the Pope cooking? The Pope and Trails, not real life.
Well, yeah.
How much Trails?
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, we have absolutely scratched they're lying about a lot of things. So, like,
yes.
to, like, what is true, what's not true, to be seen. Like, when I say this theory, like, if this theory is true, this could be a case of, like, the original one may have been Adios, and then, you know, went into the background for whatever reason, became the Grandmaster, and then maybe when the time was right, just made Nina, and then we're here. But like, yeah.
But I think, I don't want to say it's safe to say, but like these concepts and time loops and you know, splitting apart, all this kind of stuff, and even like how technology works and everything, Anna is pointing towards Adios might have just been maybe not a human, but just a being, right. Kind of like, you know, Kreha. So.
Right. But yeah, again, like, I know I'm making some leaps in logic here. I do just know for sure that they are doing like a weird parallel thing. They have a similar power level. There is definitely a connection. I just don't know the connection like fully, you know? Like, yeah.
Besides what you said, my only other theory is she's just similar to Kreha. Like she comes from the same place.
Right. Like probably
why she arrived.
Probably a younger mythos. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my guess for now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a more wild one. Okay. But it's the one what I said earlier, but like I think the younger one is a safer one.
I guess the question is, how do they get here? How did Burn get here? How did Graham? How Kreia got here? But like, I don't know. That's just strange.
Well, there's a lot left to learn. So who's to say? This actually ties into. Okay. Oh yeah, I was gonna bring this up. I have another theory. So that Katra reveal in Daybreak 2 with the angels, right? One thing that immediately stood out to me was Katra's like hair going bright white and him getting yellow eyes, which are, you know, at the very least I associate the yellow eye part with like Cigna at least, right? But like, so when that moment happened, I'm like thinking there may also be a non-zero chance the angels, as like the cult understood them, could also just be the Mythos people. But I don't know that. But, and they tried to create an artificial Mythos. It didn't really know fully what they were doing. I know, like, in universe they were talking about just dragging it down and trapping a soul in the thing, but, like, I don't know if I fully buy that's what happened in practice yet with that.
Yeah. This one, at least for me, is kind of, like, over my head because I don't fully understand where they're going with that, if I'm honest, with the angel stuff.
Right.
So like that's I could see that though.
Yeah.
I could see it.
And I have a few other things here, like so Simeon here. They make a point to bring up that he has wings that are similar to Katra's, and like Beauregard also comments on it. I have another like crackpot theory a little bit. If Kreia is still around, like, because as you can see on that top left one, the Kreia and Cigna, they're fine at the end of that game. If Kreia is the Grandmaster, a big question mark that immediately follows for me is where the heck is Cigna, her brother?
I mean, dead.
It's possible. But, you know, this is Trails. They do sometimes love to just indulge in the reveals.
Yeah, where my headcanon goes there is clearly, again, something happens where Kreia starts Ouroboros, right?
Right.
Maybe, you know, maybe Nayuta's gone. Well, maybe he just grows of old age, right? Because there's Toa, right? So that family line continued, right?
And yeah, by the way, the Mythos people just live super duper long times. I feel that should be obvious from what we said, but like if you didn't know that, so like they're practically immortal. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, but basically what I'm saying is something probably happened. Again, it could be the Great Collapse that we know of, because the time loop only goes like literally right after the Great Collapse, like literally right after, which is a really strange, honestly, really strange timing.
Right.
But regardless of that, clearly something happened and maybe he died, right? Maybe that's a huge motivation.
True.
Because she wants her brother back.
True. I'm only pointing this out that if Cigna were to be anyone in modern Trails, I feel the most suspicious, the best suspect I have is probably Simeon right now. And the part of why I am putting this idea out there, so I mentioned before that Nayuta has like a big like, you know, star motif, obviously the star energy thing, and I showed like the achievement list from Nayuta just to show that you have like the you know, all the symbols there. It is worth mentioning that Simeon was using freaking constellations to summon things.
Yeah.
Which like could be at least adjacent to like maybe a star energy nod, but like that's
and very specific dialogue from Katra saying those look like, you know, my wings, right? So
right now I don't know if that's what they're doing. It's just a blind guess. Again, we're into I'm making some reaches, but like who's to say?
Just a little bit.
Okay, we're the
the other fun part, and someone in the chat just mentioned this. Yeah, you go ahead so I can figure out what we can't talk about.
Okay, there's something I'm I'm gonna bring this up later. But all right, real quick. I'm gonna change the song now. Let's change to. Let's switch to this. Okay.
There's one specific thing I want to say about this, but I'll wait to see if you say it first.
Okay. So there is a very funny parallel with these two little fairy people, to an extent, but like Noi over here, she is introduced as the administrator of the Garden of Stars. So when Noi is, I know this is a lot, but yeah, when Noi is introduced, like, so, you know, she mentioned she's the administrator of the Garden of Stars. And by the way, keyword is administrator. Just want to mention that. We've established that Terra is a space station, though. But, anyway, later in the game, it's revealed that she is the administrator of something called the Astrolabe, which, I think that's, like, on, like, the next slide, technically.
Here, again, I'm going to send you something real quick.
Uh-huh.
Just so you have that as proof.
Okay. Oh, yeah, also, I see, okay. I'll just explain what he sent me. There is a moment where Elaine referred to, I guess, what was her name?
I basically,
I forgot her name now. I'm so.
I also forget her name.
Carmine, I think it was. Altera.
Yeah.
Altera. She referred to.
Yeah, but we know who it actually is. So.
Right, yeah. Lapis. She referred to Lapis as a fairy when she first saw her in that form, which is what.
In Daybreak 2 specifically, when she was the red hollow core, or the red mare.
Right.
So
which
they call Noi a fairy.
A lot of people
Nayuta,
do. A lot of people do. Yeah.
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 And yet they're calling Mare a fairy, or just hollows of that type of fairy.
Right.
So there's your first connection.
Right. But yeah, on the bottom left, I'll explain what the rest of this is in a bit, but on the bottom left, that is a device called the Astrolabe. And Noi is the administrator of that. It basically, those 4 continents, let me go way back. I went back far. So the Astrolabe's cool. Each of these continents, using that device, you can change the seasons of that continent like in a finger snap using the Astrolabe. Like, it just essentially just terraforms that continent and just like, or maybe it's like Jaden. Actually, no. Considering the animals and everything shift with it, oh my God, Jaden.
Wait,
it's like
what?
it's like the time septarian. It's just shifting time forward and back.
Oh, you're right. I didn't even,
because the animals move with it, you know, and they grow and stuff.
Yo. Okay, we accidentally landed on something.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No, and she's tied to that.
Yo.
I'm done. I can't. Okay.
Yeah, crazy. Trails crazy.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It doesn't stop. Like, it just doesn't stop.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, Noi, that's her superpower. She controls that thing. It also does other functions too. She used it to like remote.
She has gears on her, design.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There you go.
Okay. She also was able to remotely control a few other devices like the like that crystal and stuff too. But yeah. Anyway. That's so crazy. All right, going back to what these are. Okay, so I feel all right, I'm gonna talk in a very specific way, and I will correct this later. I definitely had a lot of speculation that Mare had possibly been a also administrator. I noticed many text boxes that seemed admin shape, but they have been blocked out with weird blah 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 text. So, Officially speaking, we don't know, but you know, yeah, we'll continue.
Oh man. Oh boy.
I hate. Anyway, so right, so we have some things here. Sacred statues. So, every single. Okay, I feel like I should move ahead a little bit. So Noi is not the only administrator. There are multiple ones, and each one of them handles one of those 4 continents. Okay. And so, yeah, no, every single one of these manages a continent, and every single one of these also had their own sacred statue. I have one here that's a funny, but, so the sacred statues are basically like giant robots that I think they more or less just handle like operations for them physically or something weird. That's a lot less explained, but they're like tied directly to the administrators. Okay. Anyway, though, yeah, these guys have a good amount of power, and again, they're just in charge of their own individual operating systems within Terra. That is their job. And so this is a complete curveball guess. I need to make a comment here, because I've had like a theory for a bit. Well, no, not for a bit. Well, since finishing Horizon, okay? So I need to say this first about Mare. Mare is funny. This is going completely off of, see, now my head's getting fried like the chat talking about all this. Kincaid, at the very end when he said he's like the beast that like awakens the dawn or something, was it?
Brings forth the white dawn.
Brings forth the white dawn. And then he like transforms just like Van. I have a theory that the holy beasts of time might be like a weird combo fusion between Mare and someone else. Like it creates the quote unquote holy beast, and it's the Grendel. That's my theory. So
yeah. But again, they're given by Adios though, right?
Right.
So
yeah.
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 Interesting one to do.
Right. So
how?
Yeah.
Like, okay, see that I have to say this, like, that breaks my brain a little bit, because this is like modern technology. But like that, yeah.
Yeah. So if I am right, and this is only if I am right, I'm thinking it would be really funny if the admins, or if the holy beasts are a disguised term for admins. And if that is true, then these things here, the sacred statues, I am wondering if Septarians are essentially super powerful sacred statues.
Rosetta's Trunks is crazy.
Like, as in, each of them are a admin assigned to their sacred statue, holy beast to their Septarian.
Yeah. It's the driver. I mean, obviously it's the administrator, but you know, somebody has to, or something, or somebody has to be in the control of it, right?
Right. Now, I don't know that for sure. But it's like this follows this maybe. Like
maybe with the cube though, maybe it's an exception where it's autonomous because it literally talks like a robot. So
that,
I don't know.
Well, okay, here's the thing though. The final boss of Nayuta was a sacred statue, and as you can see in that literal screenshot, it talks.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. So it's a possibility. And I mean, sacred statues can be powerful. We just talked about the like the astrolabe that can just time shift like the seasons in a continent. So like, yeah, the Shining Ring kind of, well, yeah, because it had like a subsystem in it technically, like to control the freaking like the stigma, which the like yeah.
Yeah, Kondo has okay, I'll just say this in general. He thinks ahead 100%. If you've played Horizon and you look back in the entire series, it's clear as day. He thinks ahead. He admitted it. You know, he said, like, for example, Kevin and Reen, that ever since like Cold Steel 1 or something, he planned for them to be in the Calvert arc. So like, he thinks ahead. So what I think Kondo did is accidentally make one of the most complex long-running series without actually it feeling that way until now.
Right. And yeah, no, that definitely is an interesting idea about this, Amy. Yeah. Now, I'm gonna get into the one part that I don't really know. So I've had at least parallels with like everything we have talked about so far with a lot of my arguments, right? We're into something that is a lot less concrete in my opinion, and it's the Beyond and the Demons. Because Nayuta does not have those things.
Yeah. I think I can help a little bit here. I believe, I could be wrong, I'd have to check back, but in the Horizon cutscene when they're talking about you know, the cube and the sword, you know, that pierces the cube or opens the box and all that, I'm pretty sure Bergard said all that stuff is like listed next to the quote-unquote demons and, you know, their books. So I find that very interesting that he said that specifically. But I think the quote-unquote demons are literally just honestly the same as like Kreia and whatnot, except obviously not in their form, but like as in they just come from another world.
Right.
So, and when they show up, right, the church, you know, classified them as demons, right, and put them in their books and whatnot, right? So I think that's where that comes into play, but you know, there's a bit more here with this Van stuff, like with his core and all that. But yeah.
I have a theory, which I think more or less may or may not tie in here, but so, well, one, by the way, it is also worth mentioning that I did observe, I said this way earlier, but like that weird portals show up and like cryptids also show up through them and stuff like that. Oh, I know why I was bringing this up. There is something that did happen like in late Nayuta, like basically after the space station activated, the weather started getting freaking weird on the actual planet, like Earth, and it's called Earth in that, by the way. It's very funny.
And someone in the chat confirmed, but yeah, it is the same scripture, so I was correct on that.
Yeah. So stuff got weird, the weather got weird, and it was confirmed that like really strong monsters, like when the Septium veins act up, started just showing up. It is worth mentioning that when the moon shattered, a lot of its debris landed on like the Earth, and it could be that it was tied to the debris that was like causing like that to happen. And if I'm right about that, Jaden, it could potentially be foreshadowing that this actually has been around in Nayuta, but like things were way more stable, that it basically never happened.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think so.
And
I think the cryptid portals also tie into what I was saying.
Right.
They're just literally from another world, right? I mean, that's how, you know, Nina got here. That's how McBurn got here, you know?
Right.
And the only thing that confuses me about the McBurn stuff is his sword and even Uwe's sword. But
which were made using divergent laws. Yeah.
Like, did McBurn bring two? Like, here, you want one? Like,
yeah. But I have another theory, a little bit. The only thing that is at all similar to the demons. Let me change tracks again. Let's find.
Bankais. I've never watched Bleach, but yeah, I hear about Bankais all the time.
Oh yeah, no, they're cool. Let's go for...
About noise other form.
Yeah, let's go for this one. Okay.
Well, what about noise other form?
Oh, I mean, right. At the very end of the game, Noid transformed in that last boss fight or whatever, I guess. But, like, I don't know. I don't know what that is relevant in this case, but that was, like, in the depths of the, inside of the astrolabe. Like, that was a weird... I don't think that's relevant to anything, but, yeah. But, okay. So, this level just introduces the inside of Terra, the space station. They had these ancient eggs where they kept, like, again, eggs of ancient creatures. And it mentions as well that, like, the sector mutated because the constellation core is about to be used because it was, like, firing out, like, an insane amount of star energy, I think, just accumulating in that entire region. But, like, it is horrific. Everything there looks freaking weird. And I am wondering if this is tied in any way to the demons. I had a thought, Jaden. And it's one of the most insane things they could possibly pull. And it's tied into your funny screenshot you love so much.
Oh, man. Yeah. Before we get to that. So, correct me if I am wrong, but everything labeled as a cryptid is basically like an animal. Right? Specifically cryptid. I'm pretty sure almost all of them are, like, animal.
Okay, so cryptids are weird because they are actually they're not very explained. Like, you just know they show up, like, when the septium veins are acting up, and that's, like, the only thing we really know about them. They aren't even brought up in relation to, like, the demons or anything, although I would not be surprised if they are connected. But,
well,
like...
actually, but that's what I'm saying, though, right? I'm actually saying they are connected because of this, right?
Right.
Because, yeah, okay, I'm looking at every cryptid, right? All of them are animal. Like, they're all some kind of form of animal, right? I see a dragon, elephant, another dragon, a whale, a plant, you know, right? All of these are animalistic. None of them are like the demons, right? However, I think they kind of explain, though, where the demons come from. They're also just from another world, just not the same one as the demons, right? I think that's all it really is, right? And this is our stealth explanation for the demons.
Right. Well, this kind of ties in. I think before I say this next bit, I'm gonna once again drop your funny little screenshot again, because while Jaden over here was playing Cold Steel 4, he observed a very funny description for this enemy.
My screenshot.
A mysterious invader from outer space made of antimatter.
Yes.
Oh my
freaking
God.
4. I stopped and looked at this enemy because I said, bro, what the freak am I looking at? And I looked at his description and I said, what? And then I tagged Genma. I said, Genma, what does this mean?
And for the record, this would not be the first time they foreshadow something this way, because the freaking combat shells on freaking Weissman were just on him, and then they just explained later, it's like, oh yeah, no, this is where he got those combat shells, if you paid attention to that. Like, what?
Yeah. So, this is how I think everything ties together, right? Cryptids. Technically, this is actually one of the demons, right? This enemy is counted as one of the demons.
Right.
But it plainly tells you it's a mysterious invader from outer space, right? AKA another world or another planet. So back to, the Kondo interview where he confirmed McBurn is from another world. I think the world literally means another planet, like Kreia. you know?
Yeah,
so there you go. It all ties together.
And it does need to be mentioned the Mythos people did master space travel because Terra exists.
Exactly, right? And now here's something that we need to bring up, right? Because there's no slide for this, but the cube, right? Or Lejarn's chest, I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's literally said to be a cradle, as in it is protecting us from something, right? So all of these things, these demons, these cryptids, freaking even McBurn and them and how they got in here, they're not supposed to be in here. They found a way around this cradle of sorts to get in Zemuria, right? Yeah. How's this happening? They're leaking in, right? So whatever, I don't know what's going to happen in the next game. We have no idea. But if this cube stays up or goes down, if it goes down, we're cooked, right? I think that is just the idea.
Oh yeah, no. My entire picture, the way they were talking is like, yeah, the moment Amelia does break through that, just the intro to Xenoblade X starts happening.
Oh my
god.
Yeah. So yeah, that is like just, I don't know, this is just a show of good writing, right? Like, this is just a really good show of good writing. The fact that you can make all these theories and it doesn't sound so crazy because it's
it sounds a little crazy, but right? I know what you mean. Yeah.
I mean, okay, it sounds crazy talking about it, but like it literally like connects, as in the writing, leaves room for these puzzle pieces to be connected. So that's a sign of good writing, good world building. Right. So yeah, I think this is crazy.
Well, okay, so I wanted to bring up the actual point of what I have here. Again, they mention it's ancient eggs, but they don't say it's ancient eggs from Earth.
What? Yo, the cryptid theory's true.
They just say they're ancient eggs stored on this space station. Now, why they have them here, I don't know.
Yeah. So, there you go. Trails is not a multiverse, but it's a universe. This is a sci-fi game now.
It is so... Like, I don't know if I want this to be true or not, that this is just aliens, but it's interesting. I'll say that much.
I mean, but low key, like cryptids, demons, whatever, they're literally just aliens. Like, as in they're not from this planet, they're foreign to this planet.
That much is true. That much is true, yeah. So how's chat feeling, by the way, with all this information? Your head's doing okay? Oh man, this is probably one of the most insane reveals, like just casually, like just from, but yeah.
And also what Grant said in the chat about the mech foreshadowing. That's insane.
Oh man. Okay. Before we start to wrap this up, I have one more thing that I want to address here. Give me a second, okay? We are going to watch this video. I have shared this before, but I think knowing everything we do now, I want to nail in the coffin here, okay? This is a video uploaded by No Bounds Owl. I have, again, shared this multiple times as soon as it freaking loads. I love YouTube being
this
YouTube.
Is what I think it is, right? Yep. Okay.
Oh my god, YouTube. Why? Okay, wait, there we go. Okay. So, I just want to remind you when I share this Alright, here we go. So in TrailstoAzure, there exists a weird debug room inside of it. And let me move this down real quick so we can have this underneath, like, both of us. Okay, so there's a weird debug room inside of it. And I want to remind you that Azure came out first, okay? Like, Nayuta was like a year or two after this. Okay. Alright, so this is from a debug room. Like, And I just want to reiterate, this is not asset reuse. These look super different. The detail level is insane. Like, again, like...
Also, just to add, they're a year apart, so...
Yeah.
Barely a year apart.
Again, yeah. So, again, like, I do this, you see what I mean? Like, just from this alone, like, on the... Yeah. Like... Anyway, okay.
Yeah, this is not no test level. Like, this was something planned.
And... Who has gone through... Really? Okay. Oh, yeah. Also, I guess this is in here. This symbol is, like, all over Nayuta. It's in, like, a bunch of levels.
Yeah. My question is, what business did this have doing... this being in Azure, period? Like,
I just know it's allegedly, like, in, like, the code for, like, the Azure tree somewhere in there. Allegedly.
Yeah, why?
It feels to me like they maybe had another lore drop they wanted to do, and then they decided to save it for later. Maybe because it was already going to be crazy with the Kia rewind as it was, and they...
I would love a Kondo interview, like, when the series is over, about, like, where they were going to take stuff, and, like, where they basically just shifted gears on plot point and course corrected.
Okay, but, again, though, like, the fact that has even Heliograd here, like, the freaking tower in the distance.
Yeah. And all of this is in Nayuta, basically. Just redone. And completely new assets. In which they didn't have to do that, by the way, because these were both on the PSP, so...
Right. Like... Yeah. Well, like, it is, but it isn't. But, I mean, like, the important thing is, like, it has, like, the tower and the freaking, like, flower bed, which, actually, I do want to talk about that, in a second. But, like, this is so fascinating. But, okay, I just wanted to point out, this is Kreha's.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that has all the flowers here. The one that's empty, that's, like, Signa's. But, like... It's so fascinating. What were they doing with this? I just... Oh,
what
man.
were they cooking? What were they cooking? But yeah. Y'all basically get the point.
I mean, but here's the sure. I mean, yes, I know that there are, like, some things like that, and, like, that could be the case, but, like, I don't know. I'm not fully convinced, because, like, I feel you could test with, like, anything. Why would you put the flower bed there?
Yeah, you know? Again, a test doesn't make sense, because the modeling is completely different in Nayuta. Like, it's brand new.
Unless they originally planned to do it in, like, the exact same one, and they decided to pivot to, like, the, I think it was done in the, what was it called? Zwei? I think, like, the Zwei style instead. But, like, I don't know. Again, it is, again, such a specific detail, and that's crazy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think, the Zwei games were not 3D, if I recall. They're, like, 2D, so...
I think Zwei 2 was, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
Let's see.
But...
Yeah. Yeah. But they... Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of hard to tell, if I'm honest.
I do still think, at the bare minimum, this is mad suspicious. Like, this is probably...
Yeah, it's just... It's a cherry on top.
Yeah.
So, are you going to drop the other thing, or...
Okay, so, since I shared this, there is one more thing I think I will share but this one might be a little bit more dodgy. So let me grab that and download it. Okay. Let me save it here. So when so basically there was a data mine. Some people have found out what some of the blocked out words are that Mayor has been saying.
Yeah. So technically, like, okay, it is in the game, right? It is in the files of the game. It's just blocked out in the story. So,
right.
I would say if you don't want to know what was said, maybe like mute the stream for a little bit.
Maybe mute the stream. I will give like a double thumbs up. Or maybe Jaden.
Yeah, I got you.
Jaden,
yeah, I'll put a thumbs up in the chat and be like, you can unmute now, right?
Okay,
so
when you see it's gone because you have it open, right, on the side.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yep. I'm gonna share this now, and if you guys don't want to see this, because they haven't revealed this officially yet in the game, so this is cheating.
Yeah, it's in the game, but it wasn't. It's in the files of the game. Let's just put it that way. And it aids our theories.
I will, when the time comes, pretend that I learned this in real time. Okay. Here we go. Guardian administrator / manager. Let me read this full sentence here. I'm being gracious enough to lend you a helping hand as a guardian administrator under the influence of the Septarian of Time. Oh my freaking god.
Yep. There it is.
She is an administrator and she's a freaking fairy.
Just like Noi.
Just like Noi. I called the fact that it was saying admin back when I was freaking playing it.
Yeah, I did as well. You remember when it was playing Daybreak?
I just that. So there, that is, unfortunately, you guys know early, but that is my smoking gun. I don't care at this point. Yep. We win.
You won something.
All right.
So these theories are like, kind of, you know, they might be going somewhere. They might be going somewhere. Grant said in the chat, I did basically kind of guess all of Horizon. Based off of Daybreak 1, 2, and Nayuta. Funnily enough. Maybe not all of it. Like a lot of stuff. I was like, huh.
All right.
I was on point.
All right.
So
yeah. So with that, I think we're done, right, Jaden? We're done. No more.
I think there's one more thing that we should talk about.
I don't think there is. I don't want to talk. I don't think.
But like, I'm sure they want to see this one. Right?
Do they really?
I think they do. I think we have to talk about it.
Okay, he's talking about one very funny theory involving one very funny character. And I'll go ahead and say this straight up, I don't agree with this theory at all, but it is funny. It's a very funny character. And I hate this. Okay.
Look, if you really think about it, it makes a lot of sense. Right?
I don't know. I don't think it does, actually. Let's just rip this off. Some people think Nayuta and McBurn are like the same character. Like like okay.
Okay, so here is my explanation for this theory, right? To make it make sense, right? I'm not saying I agree with this, right? So basically, Nayuta's McBurn.
That's all you gotta say.
McBurn is Nayuta. Nayuta equal McBurn.
Okay.
It makes sense.
I don't think with this one. Okay, so here's the thing. I get kinda, but this feels like this is coming from people that didn't play the freaking game, though. Like, okay, so
you spiked when we got the McBurn is Nayuta.
Okay, like, here's the thing. Like,
Cray is Grandmaster.
But
Grandmaster, then Nayuta is McBurn.
Okay, so it's like analyzing their character designs, kinda. And I guess he uses a sword? Sometimes.
Oh my god, someone said his Nayuta combined with Noi. That's why he was pink in his hair.
No, this is why I did this. People have actually justified it this way. Because here's some contradictions. Here's some real contradictions here. Because one, he has not gray eyes with like Nayuta. He has pink eyes.
Oh my god, I see it.
But Noi does have pink eyes and pink hair.
I see it now. Okay. We don't actually believe this, by the way. This is a joke.
This is a joke.
This is just, the last laugh, right? But I just think this theory, in all seriousness, just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense in any way.
Like, okay, this could be unpacked purely by just describing Nayuta's character, because I don't think I need to explain McBurn, like, his personality. Granted, he did just get his memory back, and we barely talked to him post him getting his memory back, so I mean, I don't know. But,
and plus, if he was Nayuta, right, I think there's a lot he would say in Reverie when he has his memory back, like inside the Reverie corridor or whatever.
Yeah, he's not. Of all characters, Nayuta isn't really the keeping secrets type, generally. But I don't know. Maybe if he had a really freaking good reason, but
yeah. And plus, like, he goes back to talk to the Grandmaster. Do you really think he's gonna be talking to Kreia like that? Nah.
No. Yeah, no. Because here's the thing about also, and I guess a piece of defense is the fact that Nayuta is like he's like the youngest protag, like, out of all of them that we've had so far. Like, he's like 15 or something. Like, but
yeah.
Anyway, regardless though, like, he is very he's nerdy. He's very optimistic, very, just bright, loves, astronomy and, like, all this other stuff. Yeah, but, like, these are, like, traits I would not really say about McBurn. McBurn's just kind of like, yeah, whatever, I'm lazy, I don't want to get involved. Oh, hey, school fight, yeah.
Mixed.
Like, oh, man, you mixed by any chance? We need Nayuta with his, like, tiny boy voice to say, "Are you mixed by any chance?" I think that'd be really funny.
How much of you is mixed? All of me.
All of me.
Oh man.
He got really into Green Day.
Oh my god. But all right.
For real now though, I think at the end of the day, I wanted to have a jokey one here at the end because I figured that'd be a fun way to cap off the brain explosion. I know, like, some theories I've made here are probably far-fetched. Some of them are less so. But, like, I had fun talking about this because these are all thoughts that I have been, like, compartmentalizing in, like, my brain for, like, the last several games. Let me pull up some music again. We have not had music for a bit. Let me get let's pull up this one. I like this track a lot. Okay. But, like, I think in general though, I think these games are connected. I am pretty much all in on this. I know that, like, some people disagree and some people don't want them to be connected, but, like, I feel on a thematic level, on a like parallel level on like similar kinds of things happening. Cause like again, like what was it, like one of the things we learned is like in mainline we've now learned like the sky's fake. In Nayuta they learned the moon's fake. We've like you know what I'm like, there's
I think, this is just my opinion. This is not Gizmo's or anything, but I feel like if they don't officially make the connection, I personally would be like kind of let down, like, huh, why? Like, you know, we set up all this stuff clearly, you know, it's for the theorists, for the people looking into things more. It'd be like, why not?
Well, no,
you know?
it's the thing, because it has felt like he is aggressively aware. Like, the thing is, they freaking in Horizon, like, I need to make this clear. These are things you don't do unless you're doing something with it. Where it's like, where it's like, oh, hey, we're making the Herschels important. We have Toa in the freaking modern arc out of, like, all characters. I mean, she's popular, but, like...
It's just, like, it wouldn't make any sense to just drop it.
Yeah. And, like, there's the release for us of, like, Nayuta. Like, they could have just not localized it. They probably would have saved effort and money and just put it into making Daybreak, but they decided to do it anyway.
Yeah, they did it for a reason. They want you to play it.
Like,
they want you to...
Yeah. Again, like, as far as, like, just all the references, and again, just weird parallels, again, he's just aggressively aware. He's talked about it in interviews. You don't talk about it in interviews and not know. I mean, like, yeah, he could be baiting, but, like, I don't know. I just...
Yeah. But I think, Genma, you did a great job putting this PowerPoint together, and, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know about y'all chat, but this was a legendary stream to me.
Thank you. Yeah, no, Oh, one last thing. Since time loops are a thing, that means Akatsuki still has a chance of being canon. Oh, God. Like, that's from a parallel timeline where, like, the inconsistencies don't matter. I guess fair. I suppose. That's funny. Or not parallel. Previous? Previous. Aw, man. Yeah, no, I think in general, though, circling back, this is bonkers. Like, this is already bonkers on top of, like, everything else. I feel, Horizon, though, most importantly, feels like it's getting us ready for the eventual big reveal. Because, like, we've scratched the surface. We have now, like, ripped off the Band-Aid of, like, okay, like, big conspiracies, space stuff, and everything. Again, when I mentioned, like, the parallels, I genuinely could very easily refer to Nayuta as, like, a microcosm of the main line.
Yeah.
Like, it is... The progression is, like, the same. Again, we start, like, oh, hey, it's fun slice of life. Now we're in space. Moon's fake. Like, world's gonna get blown up, you know? Like,
yeah.
And, I want to talk about for a second as, like, a last, like, closing point, and this is the themes of Nayuta, and I just want to talk about the themes of Nayuta. So Nayuta Boundless Trails. The word Nayuta, I said earlier, it means infinite. At the very beginning of the game, Nayuta gives, like, a speech about, basically that, hey, the world has an end, and I don't believe that there is. I want to, you know, go past and explore and find out, you know, what's going on, you know, and partially motivated by, like, his parents' legacy and everything. When he finds out, that, you know, like, then he finds out that the moon's fake, and when he gets up there and learns the truth about the edge of the world, where it's that giant crater, he has now learned that the world has an end in terms of the edge, but also learns in that scene from Kreha that the world is about to end, like, if they don't do anything. So it's a double wordplay on the word end. And then he basically gives a speech afterwards that I think I processed after my stream, like, when I was actually making all this research, and it's so freaking cool. He basically just kind of says that for us, like, in that speech in the moment, he says that, like, for us humans down there on the planet, you know, it didn't feel like our time there was temporary. Like, she calls it temporary because the world's gonna end. For us, it just felt like, you know, life was gonna go on forever, endless, boundless, you know? Like, that's the idea. And he is saying that, like, he thinks that there has to be another way so that they can avoid the end. And then at the very end, when they fix, like, the crater, he basically says that, like, there is no end of the world because they got rid of it. The edge is gone, but they also stopped the end of the world in the literal the world's going to die way. It's so free, and now has made it so that there is an infinite future, a Nayuta for them. It's so cool.
Yeah, that is good.
Like,
good, like, themes and wording and how they double stack that.
Right. But I have to bring this up because this is very directly, like, paralleling what we're having in mainline. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's
100%.
Yeah, it's peak.
Now we're literally dealing with a endless world.
An endless, yeah, it is endless. Yeah, it's going in loops. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Nayuta is the key. You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
It is the truth.
But all right. I want to thank you all for watching. Jaden, thank you for coming on and helping, you know, co-commentate.
No problem.
And, you know, clearing.
It was a
up
lot
on
of fun. A lot of fun.
And I'm glad I got a lot of this off my chest, and I hope I argued it well. And I am looking forward to Horizon 2 whenever they make that. But, hey, we got Sky Remake. It'll be fine.
Back to basics.
Woo! Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Take night. Take care. Take night. I can't words.
Take night.
Take care. Take night for your own.
Take care in your boundless endeavors.
Yes. See you guys in the boundless sky or whatever.
See you beyond the horizon.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh my god, you just reminded me. Hold on, let's do more crackpot for 5 seconds. Let's do it. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Wait, hold on. Wait, one more time. One more time. Where is it? Oh my god. There it is. Yo, guys, remember how they put on the freaking Steam page? There was like, hey, look, hey, it's a Switch. They have Beyond the Horizon on the store page for Nayuta. Freaking... No. Yeah. By the way, this was posted like freaking 2023, and then they made Kai's name Beyond the Horizon like years later. What the heck is this? Anyway.
Yeah, and I guess just real quick, if you want to know what the Japanese name translates directly, it's Trails Beyond the World. So same thing, basically.
Okay. But yeah. All right. See you guys later. Have a good night. Take care.
Hey.
Bye.